class, getting them out there on the grass?
Yeah, it's been good to get out here. I mean, really just having them in the building. It's a new couple days for everybody, right? Just where they go, where's this meeting room, where is this located? I mean, that all starts to creep in. It's like being a freshman in high school all over again for a lot of these guys. And but the energy's been good. You know, the guys, I heard we're doing walkthroughs at the hotel the night before, and you know, hopefully some of the leadership out of these guys will continue to rise. But the energy was good for the last 2 days.
Hunter as advertised.
You know, I would assume, you know, just watching. Ran a route yesterday where his shoe came off and didn't quite affect him, made a great catch, and it's more just his presence, right, and the energy that he does provide, you know, both in the classroom, in the meeting rooms, and also out here on the field. So really hard to tell in this kind of setting.
After practice, or during practice, just how important is that going to be?
Yeah.
Just working with Edgar and all of that.
Yeah, building camaraderie between the two of those guys is going to be really important. The amount of time that they're obviously being able to spend during this time has been really beneficial. And at the end of the day, it's about relationships. So for him to be able to get relationships with all the coaches, right? But specifically the extra time, and he's the type of guy that puts it in on his own when he is away from the building. And so the more he can do and continue to do that will only benefit us moving forward. Yeah.
People are here for rookie mini.
I know, this is awesome. I thank the fans and everybody for putting this on within the organization. I think it's great to have the fan base out here. You can definitely feel the players. Yesterday there was a little bit of nerves, right? It's their first day out on the grass with new coaches, and so the sense of urgency's up. And when the guys are there, you start to see some mistakes and miscommunications happen. Today, a lot cleaner. You could feel the energy from the fans, and they were obviously gassed up to have the people around.
Quarterback coaches kid, head against quarterback coaches kid.
Yeah.
Is there a little bit of a bond there that you sense, or?
Yeah, not quite yet. I mean, we'll get there, right? I mean, still getting to know him. Just met him. I'll be honest, hadn't watched a ton of his tape before we ended up bringing him in. And then once we did, I got to talk to him. John Gruden actually hit me up about him. Shot me a text. I think they spent some time together during the off season. And so you can definitely see the coach's kid mentality. He did a great job of calling the plays, having command. I mean, we weren't just out there calling one play. I mean, we were canning plays, 2 play calls. He was handling all that stuff well. So time will tell, but definitely a good guy to start off with.
And that's obviously what he's done for 2 days. When does he start getting reps on defense?
Next week.
Next week?
Yeah, next week. Yeah, he'll be able to get integrated next week on the defensive side of the ball. We just kind of ended up making a decision that from yesterday to today, we wanted to be able to clean up some of the things that we may have been able to miss yesterday, get extra reps on the offensive side of the ball, and next week he'll start to roll on defense.
Yeah, so he's gotten
that's right.
a little bit into the playbook. Right?
Absolutely, yeah. He's been able to dive in and learn some of our 3-deep coverages. What do we call our 3-deep coverages on the outside? If he has to be manned up on the backside of a 3-by-1, he knows all those calls already. So at the end of the day, it's going to be about, on the defensive side of the ball, communication, right? The technique and fundamentals we will continue to harp on, but it's really about being on the same page as the rest of the guys in the back end from a communication standpoint, and the rest will kind of take care of itself.
Maybe for all the rookies too, just to kind of dive into that playbook and get ahead.
Yeah, as much as they can do. It's like for every position, how much can they handle, right? How much can they do? How many different positions can you actually end up playing and learning? And for Travis specifically, he's obviously having to learn both sides of the ball. While he's a football smart guy, man. He's a smart dude. The game makes sense to him. And so now it's just about putting in that time, that extra time that he's going to have to do in order to be successful, to play even one side of the ball at this level. And so he knows what's cut out for him coming up.
Draft. Are you learning about his giant over-the-top personality, or did that show up in some regards leading into the draft?
No, when he got here after the draft, we got to hang out with him for a little bit there, and you felt it right away, right? You did. You felt that infectious smile that he has, that he provides and brings into the building. Very serious about football, very serious about his process in order to put himself in a position to ultimately just be in a physical shape to be able to do this and to run forever and to have the stamina and strength to be able to do this at a high level. But you see him out there dancing and having fun, and that's really cool to see. You know, we want to see some more of that. And when he goes out there and he's doing his thing, he is serious about this process. A wedding, I think he had a wedding to go to. So he was here yesterday. He was here, and he had to go take off for a family wedding. Yeah.
Second day
Yep.
of obviously other than Jacksonville, what are the other rookies that really impressed you?
I think Jack Kaiser first and foremost on the defensive side of the ball. Just from a diligence standpoint, you can tell he's already has some of those leadership qualities that you look for. He's in really good physical shape coming into camp here this weekend. I think Caleb Ransaw as well stood out on the defensive secondary. Wyatt Milam did a nice job in the drills over the course of the last 2 days, and you know, really all these guys did a great job. You know, we'll be able to go watch the tape from today. A lot of mistakes and things that did happen to occur yesterday, but that's part of it. But overall, really appreciate their energy and enthusiasm.
Set the tone for you
Yeah.
as the coach, what you're trying to get across. And, is this a big time in terms of those meetings and messages?
Yeah, I think over the course of the last few weeks with the vets, we've been able to kind of install not only the playbooks, the schemes, the fundamentals, and the techniques, but also our culture and our modes of operation, the way that we want to communicate, the way that we end up wanting to play the game. And so we've now been able to have those same meetings with the rookies over the last 2 days. And so the goal is to be able to continue to catch them up on some of those, you know, just the way we want to act, the way we want to talk, the way we want to communicate if maybe something comes up, and how these things end up carrying out onto the grass. That's really been the main focus with the team meetings with the rookies. That was also the emphasis with the vets before we ended up breaking here for this weekend. So once we get back into Monday, these guys will be integrated and be rolling, and we'll have a lot more players in that meeting room. I hope so. We'll see. It all kind of depends on the schedule and the league and all that. We haven't been able to get that information quite yet. We'll continue to utilize any asset we can to be able to make that work, but we've had some communication.
And schedule comes out.
Yeah,
Schedule comes out Wednesday. You guys have a lot of West Coast trips.
Yeah.
Did you request to the league to do anything back to back, or do you want to avoid that?
Nah, you know, I kind of haven't really requested much. I'll let Tony Baselli handle that stuff, but no, it's more so just, hey, let's remain fluid, right? We have to understand that, yes, we can ask for some things, but ultimately it's the league's decision, and we got to have the mindset to go play anybody, anytime, any place.
Just to make sure you get to see that.
Yeah, just more, you know, we call that an alignment assignment period where, you know, we've installed plays, right, on both sides of the ball, concepts, formations, motions, shifts, defensively, you know, calls, right, adjustments to these formations and motions and shifts. And so it was just a good op to kind of get out there, get the huddle, or, I mean, it's wild when you poll these guys on how many have been in the huddle recently and how many have heard a verbal cadence recently. It's very minimal. So we are actually teaching, this is the huddle, this is where you line up in the huddle, this is how we break the huddle, and this is a verbal cadence. And so that is like starting at, you know, ground zero in a lot of ways. So didn't really feel like it was fully necessary to come and do true competitive 11 on 11, but at the end of the day, I think we got something out of it.